Hello everybody, it is Mike here from My Retirement Trading, and today I'm going to make a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time, and it's about a life-changing book that changed my life. And before I get into this, I'd just like to say that I am not a financial advisor, and to please contact one before making any decisions. I'm just going to talk about this book and some of the things that I have done and how it has changed my life. So, before I get into this book, I'd just like to say, if you all hit the thumbs up button and like this channel, and hit the little bull on the right of the screen and subscribe to the channel. And let's get into this life-changing book. And here it is. It is Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins. This book right here changed my life. So, let me get into a little story before I start talking about this book. Years ago, I invested in a 401k, and it just never made any money. It never made anything. I heard about these people getting these big returns and all this good stuff, and I never participated in that. And I mean, I kept putting a little bit of money here and there in it, and I really never accumulate anything. And so I was wanting to get into investing stocks besides that 401k plan, and I put a little money into a brokerage, and I was at a friend of mine's house that was a skilled investor, and he was an older man, and he told he was going to show me a few things. I went over to his house, and while I was over there, I noticed this book right here on his desk. And this was about 2015. So that book was laying there. And I'm like, Tony Robbins' money book, the motivational speaker? You know, what's he know about money besides how to spend it, you know? And he said, no, man, it's a great book. You need to read this book. And this guy I know was a successful investor anyway, so he said, man, you need to read this book. So I read that book, and I was shocked after reading this book. Anything that I had ever done as far as my investing was pretty much wrong, except trying to invest. The fact system, of investing. But my strategies that I was using were terrible. And I remember, I had picked a balance fund. They, when you go to these meetings and things like that for your 401ks and things, they just give you a book full of funds and say, pick some of them. And they don't even, give you advice or anything. I don't even know if they can legally, but anyway, they don't. And I'm just looking at this book, and I'm a kid, and I'm reading them, and one said balance fund or something like that. And I'm like, okay, balance sounds cool to me. It's balanced, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of bonds, a little bit of stocks. And I never made nothing. I mean, it was embarrassing. I don't even know if I even had the money that I put in it originally, or just maybe a little bit more. I don't even know. It was bad. And I read this book, and this book was pointing out things that you need to really focus on. And one of the things that the book talked about, that it talked about, I believe it said 96% of all fund managers cannot beat the S&P 500. So if you pick 100 funds, 96% of them will not beat the market. That simple. And then you're going to pay a lot of these funds, according to this book, best I remember, you're going to pay like a management fee, and they're usually higher. They're not really like lower cost in most instances. They weren't from what I noticed. And so he said that in the book that 96% of all fund managers can't beat the S&P 500. And he said to pick the lowest fees that you possibly can, and avoid target date funds, I believe is what he said. And that, funds that are based on your age, like when you're going to retire. And so anyway, like I said, I took this book to heart, and I literally, the next time they had a meeting, I went down there, and this is what I personally did. I'm not telling anybody to do this. This is just what I did. And I invested 100% of what I had in the S&P 500 index fund that was available. And it actually did have a lower cost than the rest of the funds. And it had a high performance rating. And I don't know if I just got lucky on the timing or what. But in just like 4 to 5 years or so, somewhere around there, I literally more than doubled my money. And I just would have never had made anything if it wasn't for this book. And because of this book, I retired at the age of 49, and I started really late. And if I had known these strategies that this book talks about when I was a young man, like in my 20s or something, I would have been a wealthy man, more than likely. And I guess it's, better, late than never deal. But like I said, if I didn't read this book right here, I would still be working today. And I would definitely recommend this book to people to read. There's tons of information in there, and maybe you can develop your own strategy out of it. But this book has really served me well. And like I said, if it wasn't for this book, I would be working still. And it is just like what I refer to as a life-changing book for me, because nobody tells anybody this information or facts or whatever. It's sad, but it's unreal. And I don't know, I'm happy that I got the book for sure. That was like a life-changing moment for me, going to my friend's house. And I thought he was just going to show me how to do a little bit of option investing, because that's what he did. And he did do some of that, and I do some of those strategies still today. But I would say that at least 3/4 of all money invested that I personally have, that it goes into these index funds. And the beauty of these is that they pay dividends. You reinvest the dividend, or I reinvest the dividend, and the fund grows itself because you're steadily putting money back into it. And if the market goes up, your fund goes up. And I would have never have known this if it wasn't for this book. So I would recommend reading it. It would be a great tool to have in your toolkit. Like I said, he has a lot more information than that, and probably even better strategies. I just took the basic because I'm a simple guy. I just took like the basic one, but I think he even had some like stronger strategies and suggestions in there that people could do. But like I said, that one strategy that I got out of that book changed my life. So I'd like to thank Tony Robbins for writing this book, and I'd recommend going to buy a copy of it. But like I said, life-changing book. It's really helped me out a lot. And till next time, I'll talk to y'all later.